welcome to the Dungeon Goers Collaboration. My name is Jeffrey Russell Wallace, and I'm so thrilled to welcome you to our first episode of our campaign, Fell Nightmares. Now, this first episode is going to be a little bit shorter, just so you get a taste of the type of content that we'll be putting out there. It's a little more narrative, but gives an excellent introduction to the campaign. I'd also like to point out that there's a document down below in the description. Please take a moment, pause this video if you need to, and review that document. It contains certain triggers and warnings that we would like to bring to your attention. Now, this is a fantasy role-playing game that has certain aspects of violence or blood involved, but if they weren't things you were expecting and you have a vivid imagination, we don't want to cause anyone distress. Our goal is to tell an epic and fantastic story. So, if you've taken time to review that document, please scoot forward to the edge of your seats and get ready for Fell Nightmares. We have 3 random individuals doing their thing about the world. We'll just start on one side and go around. So, Wrath, you are currently assisting the Iron Bloods on Heracrulia, which is somewhat of a tropical island. Next to you is how tall would you say he is, the monkey?
Maybe 2 feet.
2 feet tall monkey, the angelic wings, the floating halo over his head.
Real
Probably tugging on your chainmail right now, clinking it loudly. Set up at a camp, looking out over the sea. You've seen those dark sails of what you know to be enemy ships coming in for quite some time now. At this point, you've all just been waiting, camped out. Every now and then you shift slightly, trying to get that trajectory right so you can meet these ships as they come into land. Isidore. Far north, in the cold, in a deep cavern. It's actually not too bad under here. Temperature's regulated pretty well. After all, it is a bunch of spellcasting holy folk. Each of them have this bright star with this kind of black flowing cloud, either of fabric or whatever sort of metalworking someone might have talent in, as the holy symbol that they wear. Now, you're tending to some of the elders, right?
The long sleeper, yes.
Yes. And there's mumblings that constantly occur. There's always that hope that you'll catch some clarity or hear something. But another mumbling of a dream passes by, and you're stuck, still waiting. Book, you've just come through the thicket of the forest. You've had to down one of these awful greenish-yellow potions to keep the nature around you from devouring you on Trohastus. You find yourself moving towards a familiar city. It's very pseudo-Japanese style in its buildings. There are a few people with the wide rim straw hats that are doing some farming on the outer edges. And every now and then you see some vines kind of wrap their way up towards those farms, and then a couple of runes on the ground will flicker and the vine gets pushed off to the side. Everyone gives a look as you approach. You hear a couple people saying, "Is that the man in the woods?" Now, these 3 characters we haven't described yet, so let's take a moment to do that. We'll go reverse circle this time where we ended. So, Book, what do you look like?
I am a very slight monk in the traditional robes of the acolyte. Probably about 5'8", dark hair, very noticeably blind. white eyes, as the stereotype tends to be, but stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, so it's very obvious who I am when you see me. I have a very long spear that I use as a walking stick in the forest to mark terrain or fend off vines as needed. But other than the monk robes and the spear, I'm a pretty unremarkable person. If I'd been in my regular traveler clothes, no one would probably look at me twice. If I were just holding a fishing pole instead of a spear.
Okay. Very nice. Isidore.
Isidore is a human. They're about 5'5", 5'6", very pale, long, dark hair, swathed in the sort of robes and tunics that you would see of a religious order, even more so because it's up here in the cold north.
Okay. Wrath.
Wrath is also human. About 6 foot, messy hair, covered in chainmail, some cloth over top of that. That's it.
All right.
He likes to fight, so he's here as a mercenary.
Scrappy boy.
All right. Yes, the followers of Valactiqueus typically wear dark robes, blacks, purples, dark grays, kind of following that same astral color pattern that comes from her mind. So, the three of you, as you are in your respective places, I will hop back to Isidore for a brief moment, as you are next to one of the eternal sleepers, these elders that have been purposely, magically set to eternally sleep, to connect to Valactiqueus. Suddenly, very swiftly, sits up, opens his eyes, and grabs your arm. The time has come. You are needed. And proceeds to lay back down.
Are there any other acolytes in the room? Or?
There are a few, all of which have stood up and immediately slowly started backing away. Very concerned.
First thing I do is check on him.
Okay.
Make sure that everything is, the slumber is still intact,
Yeah.
still alive.
Back to sleep. Still got a pulse.
If you all will excuse me, I must speak to Sen.
Yeah.
Yes. Peaceful dreams. And I walk to the hallway and then I run up to where Sen is. Sen is the priest that essentially raised me.
Yes. Wrath. Out on the water. The ships you've been keeping a very close eye on. Make a perception check for me.
Natural 20.
Excellent.
First roll of the game.
God, I love you. Ian, I love you. So, and I warned you guys about his luck. I warned you. You squint for a moment, and you can see coming out on the very edge of one of the ships, this individual in these bluish robes, and he slowly starts bringing his hand through the air. You can see blue magic starting to just slowly get etched as he starts placing out a rune in front of him. It intensifies, and you see this rune suddenly mirrored on the hull of every ship out there, starting to glow.
Well, that's not good.
And then each of the ships and land on shore directly in front of your camp. They lean to the side slowly, and men begin pouring out. Book. Walking into town, 3 or 4 of the local individuals come up and say, "We have to ask, are you the one who lives in the woods?"
I live in the woods and I am one, so yes.
"Oh my god, it's him." And they start like scattering. Suddenly there's people everywhere who are like, "Oh, he's here, he's come to the town." Seems to be a bit of a miscommunication.
I keep heading toward the tavern where I was originally going. Just
Okay.
sort of... okay. I guess I've come from the woods.
Sure. Making your way towards the tavern.
Yes.
Just in front of the door, blocking it, is a somewhat pale, sandy blonde human, blue eyes, pretty generic looking guy, neck length, long hair, combed over a bit to the side, who seems to be watching you as you approach the whole way. And if you continue up to him.
I do, but I don't give him any indication that I can actually see him. I sort of lean into the blind
Okay.
monk act and lean a bit heavier on my spear as my stick as well.
Okay. And you can see, of course. I'm going to be doing that a lot.
It's alright,
You can-
I've already committed myself to not calling you on it.
Thank
so.
Rather, you can sense, as you are technically within that 20 feet, him standing there and having been watching you this whole time. When you get within 10 feet, that blind sense kind of comes up. Of course, the colorations and descriptions are more for the audience than for you, but who knows? Maybe you grow a bit of an inkling towards these things. Or maybe those are the blanks you fill in. Hard to say. But you do see this individual, and as you reach that kind of blind sense, you just see him smiling widely with kind of a weird or knowing smile about him, the way that his cheeks are pushed up. It's sort of a sensation you've gotten used to. Actually, I'm curious too. What is your insight or your passive insight for this character?
My passive perception is 13.
Okay. What's your insight score?
It is... is that just my skill?
Yeah.
Yeah, +6.
+6. Okay. So it'd be a 14 passive. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty clear reading that's on his face to understand. And he puts a hand out towards you immediately. Hi.
I accidentally hit my stick into his foot and say, "Oh, please forgive a blind monk his
Oh, that's quite all right.
clumsiness." Good sir, I did not see you there.
No, I'm sure you didn't see me at all. So, Book. That's what you go by, right? Book?
Yes.
Yes. Odd choice for a name to take, but hey, who am I to judge? After all, I mean, with a lengthy name like Saborius, it's hard to get to know mine easily. Can I buy you a drink? Book.
I don't drink, but I will share a beverage with you.
Oh, please, come on in. I'm sure you can find the door just fine, and he'll just step aside.
I drop the act at this point and just walk into the door.
Okay. Walking
Clearly
in.
this man knows about me and who I am, so I'm not gonna...
Okay. Yeah, stepping inside, the tavern is bustling. That tremor sense is just going off with every person's foot out that 20 feet. Within 10 feet, you can see several individuals enjoying a drink, maybe getting a bit too rowdy. Everyone seems very cheerful and to be in a very good mood.
That probably takes me back for a moment, because I'm just not used to all of that sort of activity and noise and
Has
people.
been a while.
It's been quite a while. So, yeah, I would probably take a step in and then immediately have to orient myself and recenter myself before I was able to keep walking in.
If the tremor is bothering you, I can always levitate you off the ground.
Please don't.
Okay. Water, I guess?
That would be best.
We'll skip the lines. Come sit down. He'll take you to an empty table, and in your blind sense, where there was no cup, there is a cup, and there is water in it.
Good trick, I say, and I just reach for it.
I got plenty of those, and another glass will appear in front of him, and he'll start drinking from it. So, book. In about 20 seconds, I'm going to ask a hell of a lot from you, more than anyone, but a good portion of the world is going to depend on it, so can I trust in your assistance?
Was that the question, or do I still have 15 more seconds?
You have about 10 seconds now.
Uh,
That is the question.
yes.
Excellent.
Count on me.
Isidore, rushing down the hall, throwing open the door. You see his name again, I'm sorry.
Sen.
Sen. You see Sen. Sen Brakar standing. I imagine he's a bit of an older individual, graying somewhat at this point. He is standing talking to a brown, semi-sandy-haired individual with blue eyes, pale-esque skin. I think we can just drop the act, as you all know what's going on here to an extent. Who looks over and says, Isidore, running a bit behind, but in about 10 seconds I'm going to need you for something.
Sen, Dreamer Branco, who is this gentleman?
I'm afraid I don't have much time to explain. On the shore, Wrath.
Yes.
There,
Standing up, shield, mace in hand.
Yep, you are bracing yourself for that onset, and there's another blue flicker that comes up to your right.
And I immediately shield to that side.
All right, a pale-skinned, sandy-haired individual stands at your side. Wrath! Hello! Make an attack roll. You swing at him, absolutely.
Natural one.
Okay. You are so just taken off. You just kind of...
Boat's short, guy next to me. Ah!
Almost as if he knew exactly what you were about to do. He just kind of shifts the shoulder slightly, and the mace just goes by. Calm down. Friend, not foe. I'm going to need you in about 5 seconds, though. It's going to get weird.
Okay.
So, running down a quicker timeline.
Monkey.
You answer his question. Do you say anything in the 10 seconds before you are taken away?
Like, the eternal dreamer, he spoke.
What? And that's where we'll leave you. And Wrath, 5 seconds, anything?
Yeah, I'll just be like, monkey! And then he'll climb up on my shoulder.
Okay. Comes on up. Savorius reaches out, grabbing each one of you on the arm, and in a flash, you are teleported away. You appear...
I immediately vomit.
I was just about to say that!
Well, that hurt like hell.
Well, if you want to do the first time teleportation con save, you can. That's up to you.
Absolutely.
If not, you can just go straight for the vomit. Depends.
Natural one. I vomit.
It's just, what is it?
Natural 20!
Constitution
Con
save.
save? Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's your first time teleporting. Why not?
That is a 17 on the die.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So, both
Actually,
Isidore,
not 20.
you guys are fine. A profuse amount of vomit. Projectile all over.
Are we in the presence of all of this vomit?
You are in the presence of all of this vomit. So in your blind sense, you're just streamlining of it. And after he proceeds to vomit, the monkey goes...
I'll lift the edge of my robe and, like, step several feet back.
I would also do the same.
Also, to clarify, you are currently in a dark, almost pitch black space. There
Are
is no light in here. For most of you, that's a problem. Actually, for one of you, that's a problem.
Huge problem. I can't see.
Your monkey does
It's
provide like
vomiting.
a little bit of glow, so
I can see my monkey.
yes, and some lights will furl upward. A few of them start dancing around above you. 3 identical pale-skinned, sandy, blonde-haired, blue individuals stand next to each of you.
Triplets?
And in a annoying unison say, "Here we are." And then they look at each other. One of them, they all kind of put their hands up. One of them puts it down. Okay, I'll do the talking. Sorry. So, things looking to your right, before you can get more than 2 words off. Sitting in a pitch black chair, you guess? You won't really get to know, because your mind immediately gets pulled. Black robes that come up to the head, these goat-like horns, black, rise up. Pale, greenish, dead-looking hands sit on the edge of this throne. A skull, black, just under that robe. And above him, just a small, yellow, almost like the slit of a moon, but gold, that glows slightly. I need y'all to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
I'm so good at those.
Been nothing but natural 20s and natural 1s so far.
I guess we'll see. Where's the spectrum?
Oof. It's gonna be a big fat 10 from Isidore.
Okay.
9.
9,
7.
7.
Yeah.
Playing right into things.
Good.
A chilling sensation overcomes you. You see Savorius look over for a moment. Death would be such a sweet release. And he starts moving towards it. As a matter of fact, all of you start slowly moving towards this deathly quiet sitting individual. The 3 of them kind of shake their head for a moment and then seem to be repulsed. And as you're getting closer and closer, the 3 of you drop. Dead. Before coming back to life. Lying on the cold ground. Behind you is this slightly androgynous looking female. She has these massive raven wings coming off of her back. At her side, or in her right hand, is a rotating, holy because it is a glowing weapon of a crossbow. And it seems that she has just revived the 3 of you. Behind this individual that's been sitting there, rising out of the darkness, are 3 massive, ship-sized, silver eyes. 1 center, 2 to the sides, and it slowly reveals a massive raven, gargantuan in size, that rises up. As it does, a very low murmuring from it comes. It says, "Savorius, it's time." Shakes his head again, or the 3 of them do in unison. "Right, sorry. Whew. Okay." 3 more Savoriuses pop in. One of them turns. "Nice to actually meet all of you, but get them out of here. Virgil, please." The angel-like individual behind you, glowing, says, "Right, sorry. If the 3 of you don't mind, and you will be transformed into ravens before a word gets spoken and be fluttered off. You pass through this darkness back onto the material plane, maybe? And as you do, you come out on the coastline of Waxarian. And dropping down from the sky itself is a massive white spider. Your ravens suddenly flutter, and as you tip head over heel, you are back into human form. The angel behind you is debating whether or not to deal with this or go back towards this small speck of darkness that you seem to have come from. I leave you in good hands, I promise. and she back into this dark speck. This spider is literally world-sized. White, hairy, dropping down on top of you, and the world slowly starts to build webs that climb around you. And then one, and then multiple eyes, red, just furl open, and you can hear each flapping of the eyelid due to the size of this creature as it opens as a concussive blast against your body. Several smaller spiders begin to drop down from the big one. The webs are wrapping around you. Need you all to make another wisdom saving throw.
As a blind person, this is all terrifying.
Yes. Also to mention, as a blind person, you have been able to clearly visually see each of these individuals so far.
All right.
What do you got?
8.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
14.
Okay. You all feel madness shake your mind. In your brain, no, you can see the inside of your brain now. You feel eyes opening on the inside of your head. You start clawing away to reach them. And in the corner of your eye, you suddenly see white on white against the silhouette of the spider, and then realize a massive wolf, the size of that spider, comes across. This white wolf grabs it by the body and jumps what would be into the galaxy, out of sight. Several of those small spiders begin descending down still, landing next to you. To your right and left, 2 slits bending from reality open, and you can see lush grass and greenery behind them, a beautiful sunset sky, and you hear lutes playing that draw you close to them. But in an instant they are closed, and 2 wolves descend outward, one white, one black, and begin devouring these spiders. As you are stuck in fear, the madness leaving your mind, a coin flip is heard. And an individual steps out, a small individual actually, about halfling-sized, glowing slightly golden before fading into a pretty average-looking halfling, black hair, soft-set face. Hi, we should get out of here. Please, and we'll hand each of you 3 coins. Give those a flip. We don't have much time. Spiders begin
Immediately flip my
moving
coin.
in. Same as the individual who gave one to you. Flipping the coin, you find yourself on the other coast of Waxarian. Rising from it, a large, insectoid-looking humanoid. Massive, spider-like legs, I want to say, although almost grasshopper in the way they fold, are coming off of the back. This horned green individual, tentacles writhing from its mouth, out of its neck, down its body, comes forward. The individual who gave you the coins nowhere to be seen. Next to you, in a flash of lightning, a dwarf appears. This dwarf has bright blue hair that's graying at this point. He looks on the edge of his life for a dwarf. Sorry for all the chaos. Name's Aaron, but we should leave that to Sevorius. He gave me a call. All the chaos will be explained, I swear. Just hold on. Your body begins to shimmer and shake, and you start to feel your hair stand up on end as static builds around you. This is a bit odd for a first time, but promise nothing weirder than what's happened so far. Your body morphs into a small bolt of lightning and flies upward following this dwarf. You find yourselves riding towards the skyline, and hitting it, you can see stars starting to form, hitting the edges of the galaxy. Your body starts to reform, and then wind picks up under you and keeps you in place. The lightning bolt continues on. And up in the sky, you see a writhing mass of tentacles, black, forming. And these dark skulls among the body of these tentacles, kind of huddled in the middle. And then you see the image slowly floating across the skyline of a woman. But not your typical woman. Her legs seem to be of old and ancient petrified wood, with decals kind of curling and drawn across them. She rests in these purplish robes. She has a semi-tan breastplate and a banner of stars that run across her arm. The most unusual thing about her, though, is at the top of her head is an open skull with black void flowing from on top of it, and stars dancing from that black flow. This tentacled creature begins to wrap around her, and for just a moment, her eyes closed, she lays looking almost in an eternal and restful slumber. Her eyes open briefly. She looks at this being and says, "You are from my realm, and now shall not exist." And the creature disappears. She closes her eyes, and so do all of you. You fall into a sleep. You find yourselves awakening to disturbing noises. You see these small imp creatures made of different small entities, mostly like the small forest critters, bunnies, squirrels, raccoons, just spliced into one small creation. And one larger creation. One of its legs is a deer, the other is a bear. It has this owl wing that's kind of forced into a claw arm, and the other arm of a gorilla. Its face is kind of just a mess of those creatures twisted together. It has a great axe that is currently on its back, as it has just gathered up a armful of messy creature parts. Is currently up the black stump there and just slough them onto it. And it begins to bubble, and slowly pieces start to form in it. Now at this point you don't think that anyone else has noticed you. You do see other unconscious humanoids and creatures next to you. But at this point you seem to be the first to awake. We have Wrath and Isidore. They are currently in kind of the closer living pile there, the blue squares, which actually can be seen on camera. And we have Book in the farthest back blue square there. So as you come to, Book, technically the two of them would be out of your, for your brief meeting, would be out of your blind sense to identify them, but you can probably with your tremor sense just catch the edge of another living group of creatures. So, as you come to consciousness, what would you like to do? And Book, all of the description, of course, this is all sensory for you.
Yeah.
These are things you can hear happening.
Yeah. No, I would probably still be reeling from my very brief foray into seeing all of those things that I saw when I was whisked here. So I'm probably just going to lay there for a second and get my bearings and, feel what I can feel out.
Makes sense.
I would like to. We're basically laying on top of a pile of other people and creatures, right?
Among them, yes.
Okay. I would like to, perception, medicine, whatever, figure out, is this a pile of dead bodies? Are they alive? Where am I?
Yeah, give me a medicine.
Okay. I had to make sure I was proficient in that. Good roll to start the game. 23.
23, yeah. You can tell that most of the creatures that you're currently next to are knocked unconscious. Some of them, it's not very delicate blows. It was probably done by the massive creature that's currently dumping pieces onto the log. So knocked upside the head or hit in the gut to knock out. but there's definitely a couple of creatures and humanoids among that were hit a little too hard and are no longer with you. But most of the bodies in this pile seem to be living.
Unconscious and stable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's one worry off the plate.
I think Wrath will definitely try to roll off of said pile
Okay.
and get. I'm assuming we can see the big creature.
Yes, yep, you can see it. Its back is turned, and it's kind of just engrossed right now watching whatever is beginning to form in front of it.
Are these stumps tall?
They're
Or
3
they-
feet, maybe.
Maybe crawling up to one of those to try and hide behind.
Okay,
Kind of rolling
Yeah.
off to the side and
absolutely.
making his way. Telling the monkey to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you probably wake up to Thorn like shaking you and like slapping you in the face.
Monkey shit.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check then if you're going to climb your way up there.
Eight.
8? Okay. Yeah, so as you're kind of like chink, 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 you probably get about 10 feet out from that pile of creatures, and the big one kind of turns for a moment and starts looking in your direction.
Play dead.
Play dead? Okay.
I'm not moving.
I'm gonna have him make a medicine check. Okay. He kind of like looks at the stump, looks back at you, makes his way and starts like boom, 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 stomping his way in your direction.
I think I'm just gonna lay there.
Okay. Comes over, gives you a hard poke. Big gorilla arms.
Do my best not to make any noise.
Picks you up, takes you back over to the pile, puts you on it. Looks at the
I'm
little
just like,
looks at the little monkey on your back. Pokes that.
Oh, he's gonna get me in trouble. Great.
I'm just gonna make a quick roll for Thorn here.
Yep.
Thorn plays dead,
Alright.
and he makes his way over to the pile of bodies and entrails and seems to be starting to scoop up another chunk of those.
Interesting.
since he walked away, I'm just gonna real quick cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay. Okay. Give me a stealth check.
I'm gonna burn a sorcery point.
Okay.
It's fair.
Cast subtle spell. Use subtle spell on
I'm going to
Metamagic
subtle
on that.
spell Mage Armor to myself.
Okay, absolutely. No stealth check necessary. There's a brief little flicker of energy that wraps around you. Alright. Yeah. You can start to see now on the big log, it looks like the head, partially of like a fox and a bat, are starting to like twist and form and come up and out, and you can start to see similar formations of like a torso beginning to form.
I see. So he's like making more of them.
Seems to be.
Do I see the mage armor?
You're right next to the
Yeah.
store, so yeah, you do see like.
Someone else is like,
Yeah,
Also-
a little.
I'm probably looking at you like,
fucking monkey.
Thorn keeps tapping you like, what are we doing? And Book, all of this is very audible to you.
Yeah,
You would
oh,
definitely
yeah.
have heard like the chink, chink, chink of.
No, the big footsteps approaching and then walking away, I probably would have like tried to make my way off the back of the pile to put
Okay.
some space between myself and whatever was making that horrifying stomping sound.
Yeah, let's see. D8. Yeah, so you kind of roll your way off and end up rolling closer towards the tree, which enters just into the range of your blind sense as you
Okay.
kind of roll off the pile. And you can sense this massive, tall, probably oak tree next to you.
I would probably head for the tree then, just
Okay.
to like something familiar and not a pile of bodies.
Yeah. Give me a stealth check, just in case.
Yes, I can do that.
That's probably my next move too, is looking for a tree.
Yeah, I would try to slip off the backside of the pile.
17.
17. Seems, at least based on sound, that nothing notices you as you slink behind the tree.
And do I sense anything in my blind sense? Any creatures around me?
In your blind sense, no, you're not getting much. As a matter of fact, the more, especially being as audibly attuned as you are, you notice that it is insanely quiet,
Oh.
except for the noises going on.
Oh, I hate that.
You have the crackling of fires that you can hear in the distance. You can hear like the small chanting of foreign dialect of these small little imp-like creatures dancing around the log, or at least that you assume are over by the log.
So everything I
Stomp,
hear
stomp.
is like up
Yes,
further.
but everything
Okay.
is up farther. Behind you, deadly quiet.
Okay. I would like back up so my back was against the tree and just sort of like take a second to try to ground myself and really take a listen and make sure that I wasn't hearing anything on the other side of that tree. And if I don't hear anything, I'm not going to go over there because I don't know what's going on.
Thorn Wrath is gonna like poke at you and point to the tree,
Yes.
and then he's gonna like start slowly slinking his way over, and in your tremor sense, you'll get a small creature heading in your direction.
I would immediately be on my guard. Like, what's this thing?
I'm also going to try to sneak off the back of the pile. I'm
Okay.
assuming I see him sneaking around.
What's your passive perception?
13.
13. You do not.
Okay.
Nope. Your attention, Thorn has actually been kind of facing away from you, which is why he noticed you move in very visual sight lines. But I assume you guys are kind of tied up right now between the massive creature scooping up body parts.
Yeah.
And he is now kind of like got another armful and is making his way back towards the stump.
I'm still sneaking off the back of the pile in the opposite direction of that
Absolutely.
creature.
Give me stealth checks then.
Will do. Oh, you're gonna get me killed.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm truly sorry.
4.
All right.
It's also a 4 because it was a 1 on the die.
Ooh.
So,
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
So
Is there anyone else in the pile wearing chainmail? Kick that over. Shit.
as a matter of fact, yes, there is. Basically, like, get off and just your chainmail all kind of bundled up from being, like, on this pile, slinks down and just... And then Isidore, you end up, like, catching a foot on some plate mail and tripping over yourself, landing prone, and that piece of mail snaps off and just boom, 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 across the ground.
Oh no.
I definitely hear that.
And the massive creature with this armful of entrails and bloody pieces just drops it on the ground, grabs the great axe off its back, turns, and we should roll initiative.
Oh.
Oh my
I'm not a
god.
sneaky person, but
Clearly not. I'm gonna have to teach you a few things. I swear.
Wow.
That really could not have gone more
Oh
poorly.
my god!
I expected the fighter, not the sorcerer, to screw this up. Alright.
I thought, you know, that dice got all its 1s out. I'll roll it for initiative, because there's no way it'll roll 2 1s in a row.
Well, that's a mistake.
I'm going last.
Alright. 20 or above. What do you got?
23.
23.
nice.
No, this is the worst.
Leave us to die.
I don't
please.
know what's happening at all. I just hear something huge running toward me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
20 to 15. 15 to 10. 10 to 5.
9.
9, alright.
Y'all.
You are Wrath. 5 to 1. 4.
But I did roll a 1 on the die.
You did roll a 1 on the die. Okay, what's your dex?
3.
3. Book, you're the first to hear like the thoom thoom. It gets maybe 2 steps in your direction, but you are quick to act on this. If you want to act, what would you like to do? You're currently hidden to the best of your knowledge.
Right. Well, to the best of my knowledge, I'm always hidden.
Within your tremor sense, you do have that small creature that's coming towards you.
Is the small creature reacting at all to these booms?
The small creature does kind of stop, and tremor sense, you would get a slight like rotation of it, probably looking behind it, and then its pace quickening in the other direction.
Okay.
Which would be still towards you.
Toward me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this thing doesn't
It
want
just
to.
abandons you.
This thing doesn't want to deal with whatever this is either.
Apparently.
That's not a. Well, it's a good sign that it doesn't seem to mean that one of its minions is coming at me, but it's a bad sign in that it also does not want to deal with whatever this is. So, oh gosh, I'm gonna take the lesser of 2 evil options, and I'm gonna, still with my back to the tree, I'm gonna like make my way around to the other side and into the silence and try to get the tree between me and whatever's coming.
Okay. So you're most kind of moving towards the corner of the tree then?
Yeah, I'm like edging around the
Gotcha.
perimeter of it
Okay.
to try to get into what I assume is cover.
Perfect. All right. Wrath.
Yeah, I'm going to, now that this guy is, picking up the pace, attempt to dive for the tree
Okay.
and tell Thorn to get out of here.
All right.
Thorn, up!
Thorn will flourish the little wings and start going upward.
And then, yeah, I'm booking it for this.
Which, to my perspective,
gonna
means
say
it
this.
just vanishes
Very
to the ground.
confusing. Yep, it's
And
gone.
now I'm really not pleased with what's going on.
Until it flies into your blind
Oh,
sight
God.
range.
Well, thank God I've got deflect missions.
It's gonna become Deflect Monkey.
Deflect monkey.
All
Listen,
right,
if
Wrath.
it throws anything at me, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You do have enough movement to, yes, like skirt your way around the tree, which means you would sense the heavier footsteps, and then in your blind sense, Wrath would come around the tree and be right next to you.
So I turn, jeez!
Ugh, what? Don't do that.
It's like, you don't look deformed, we're good, alright?
You're not with... What's happening?
Big guy.
Okay.
Lots of monsters
Enough
put
said.
together. Terrifying. Sword drawn, let's go.
Meanwhile, the sorcerer is like wiggling on the ground.
So, Isidore, you're prone currently,
Yeah.
so you'll take 5 feet of your movement to stand up. As we've discussed per homebrew rules. And, or 10 feet? 10 feet, excuse me. 10 feet of movement to stand up. And then you will continue, which will get you probably just to the corner of the tree if you're heading to the same one they're hiding behind.
Yeah.
Okay. The amalgamation.
Did the amalgamation also roll a 1?
He did, actually. Yep. Yep, that is why he did.
I'm like,
Bottom
wait a
of
minute here.
initiative.
Thank God for small miracles.
Yeah, he is going to... so currently kind of at the corner of the pile of bodies there, he is going to, well, about 10 feet from the dead pile.
That's exactly like it.
Yeah, so he's actually close to the red chunk there. Big red square. Yeah, he's like right there. He's going to bend down, squatting slowly, and then leap in the direction of Isidore and land right in front of you. Thank you so much for watching our first episode of Fell Nightmares. If you enjoyed that content, please leave a like and a comment down below. And if you think of a friend who may enjoy this as well, please pass it along to them so we can share this wonderful story we're telling with others. Now, until next time, I hope that joy, peace, and kindness are with you. And until then, stay epic, my friend!